Today we'll go through all the steps to deploy a canister on the Internet Computer. To deploy your canister, you will need cycles. Cycles are used to pay for computation and storage costs. Each canister has a cycle balance. To get your hands on cycle, you have two different ways. The first one is to go on an exchange, to buy ICPs, and then to burn those ICPs to get cycles. You can only go in one direction, and you cannot go back in time to get ICPs from your cycles. The second way is to use the cycle faucet, which is an initiative by Dfinity to get free cycles. In this video, I will explain the two different ways, and it's up to you to make your choice if you prefer to buy ICPs or if you want to use the faucet. Interaction with the Internet Computer are usually signed, so in order to interact with the network, you will need to have an identity. An identity corresponds to a pair of keys, a private one and a public one. Those keys are stored in your machine. You can have multiple identities on your machine. Each identity will have a different name. The private key stored in your machine gives access to all the canisters that you control and to your balance of ICPs. So make sure to keep your computer safe and secure. The public key is used to determine your principal. As we'll see later, a principal is a unique ID that identifies you. To create an identity, we will use dfx. If you want to know all the possible things that you can do with dfx, you can run dfx with the flag help. It will show a list of all the subcommands that you can use with dfx, so dfx bootstrap, dfx build, dfx cache, and so on. And on the right, you have an explanation on what this subcommand will do. Also, if you want more information on a specific subcommand, like if you want more information on dfx ledger, you can do dfx ledger and add the help flag, and it will show the subcommands for this specific subcommand. And you can repeat this process until you have enough information. To create a new identity, I will use the dfx identity new command with the name of the identity. So here I will use Motoko, but you can choose the name of your choice. And then you need to enter a password for it. So this will encrypt the private key. You also have a seed phrase, so make sure to keep it in a safe place, because if you destroy or lose your computer, you will need it to access your identity. Of course, with this identity, I won't do anything important. Once you have created your identity, one thing to know is that dfx has always one identity that is used. So if you want to know what is the currently used identity, you run this command, dfx identity who am I. Right now I'm using this identity, so I need to change to use the new identity, which is Motoko. If you want to see all the identities that you currently have, you can run dfx identity lists, and it will show all the identities. The one with the star is the one that is currently being used. As we've said before, each identity has a principal associated with it, and you can see the principal with this command, dfx identity get principal. You need to enter the passwords, and then you should see something with the same format as this. The first way to get cycles is through the cycles faucet. You will get 20 trillion cycles, which is around $20 worth of cycles. You will need to receive a coupon code from someone from Dfinity. So this process is manual and might take a few hours or even a few days in some cases. So if you are really in a rush, you might consider the other option, which is to buy ICP, and you can skip to the dedicated part in the video. So right now we need to request a coupon cycles. So you need to click here and it will send you into the Dfinity developer Discord. Once you're inside the Dfinity developer official Discord, you can go to the cycles faucet channel, and then you can post a message, something like, I am requesting 20 trillion cycles for learning purposes, thanks. A few things to note is that you will receive the code by DM, so make sure that your DMs are open. Also, please don't tag anyone, it will not accelerate the process. And the last thing is to be cautious of potential scammers. The person contacting you should be someone from Dfinity with the Dfinity Foundation, Dfinity tag, so like this, foundation tag. If it's someone else, or if it's someone that looks very suspicious asking for your seed phrase or anything, please report it into the scam channel, which is here. Once you have received your coupon code, you can go back to the cycles faucet and copy paste your coupon code here, and then go on next step. Make sure that your dfx version is at least 0.12. If you have something higher, that's perfect, but if you have something below that, you can run this command to upgrade. So in our case, that's already the case. We can go to next step. And then we just need to copy this command and paste it into our terminal to request the free cycles. Before you paste the command and run it, make sure that you are using the good identity, because you don't want to create the cycle wallet for another identity. So in our case, that's the one we want, it's Motoko. Once you are sure that you are using the right identity and you have the good version of dFX, you can copy and paste this command into the terminal and run it. Once you've run this command, you can go to the verify step and you should run this command and you should see a balance that is at least around this figure. If you don't want to use the cycle faucet or you cannot use it for any reason, you will have to buy ICPs. So you need to go into an exchange, something like Binance, Kraken, Coinbase, or anything else where you will find ICP. I recommend to buy around $5 worth of cycles. The number of cycles that you will get doesn't depend on the price of ICP, because the ICP to cycle conversion rate is always modified depending on the price. So you will always get, for $5, you will get a constant amount of cycle, whatever the price. Once you have bought your ICPs, you need to go to your terminal and you need to get your account identifier. So you need to run this command, dFX ledger account ID, and you will see an address. So it's not the same as the principal, even though it's related to it. And this is the address that you will have to use to send the ICPs from the exchange to your dFX account. So copy this and move to the next step. Once you have your address, you need to withdraw the ICPs from the exchange. So you can go on the withdraw page and paste your address. Make sure that it's the right one. And then you can withdraw an amount. So in my case, I need 1 ICP. After waiting a few moments and seeing the confirmation of the transaction from the exchange, you can verify that you've received your ICPs by running this command. So dFX ledger, network IC balance. You need to enter the password again. And as you can see, I've received my ICPs minus the transaction fees. Okay, so now that we have our ICPs, we want to convert those ICPs to cycles. But before that, we need to create a cycle wallet, because users cannot hold cycles. They need to have a wallet, which is a canister that's able to hold cycles for them. So to do that, we first need to get our principal. Then you can copy and paste it. And then you can run this command. So the command is dFX ledger network IC create canister with your principal ID. And then you need to add a flag, which is amount 0.25. It corresponds to the amount of ICPs. Now you run this command. Okay, so now the canister has been created. So copy this ID, which is the ID of the canister, and then run this new command. So dFX identity network IC, deploy wallet, and then the canister ID. So paste the canister ID here. Because right now we have a canister that is empty, so we need to deploy the module that corresponds to the wallet. And now you can run this command. So we have created the wallet. So if we run dFX wallet network IC balance, we should be able to see the balance in cycles this time. So we have 0.6 trillion cycle. If you want more cycle, you can check that you still have ICPs in your balance. So dFX ledger network IC balance. And the password again. As you can see, we still have ICPs. And we can convert those ICPs by running this command. So dFX ledger network IC top up amount, and then we can add the flag amount like this. So let's say 0.7 ICPs. And then we need to add the wallet ID, which is here. Once the cycle wallet has been top up, we can verify the new balance by running again this command, dFX wallet network IC balance. And we should see a different figure. Yeah, we have 2.7 trillion cycles. So that's enough cycles to deploy a canister. Let's move to next step. For this project, we want to create a really simple canister. So it will be a canister that just greets us. Basically, we send our name and it will answer hello and our name. So I will just copy paste the code. The purpose of this video is not to explain how to write Motoko code, but basically you have an actor, which is the canister, and then you have one public function. So public means that you can call it from outside of the actor. And this function is called greet, and it will take a name of type text, and it will return after some time, which is the meaning of this async. It means that you have to wait for the answer. It will return a text, which is hello, and the name that you provided here. Same thing about the dfx.json file. The purpose of the video is not to explain everything about it. You just need to paste this. We have the brackets that are open here. Then we have the canisters, and then we have another round of brackets. And inside this, you have each canister that is described. So here we only have one, but if you want more, you can add a comma and then do it again. So this canister is named first canister, and the main file is the main.mo file. And the type of the canister, which is also the language of the canister, is Motoko. So we are ready to deploy our first project. A canister is a 3-step process. The first step is to create a canister. This will create an empty canister on the network and assign a canister ID to it. The second step is to build the module. The module is built from the compiled code. The third step is to install the module inside the canister. This entire process is called deploying a canister. To create our first canister, we can run this command. So dfx canister network IC, create first canister with cycle and the amount that you want. So when you create a canister, there is a fee of 1 trillion cycle. And then with this flag, you can add how much cycle you want to put inside the canister. In our case, this is 1 trillion cycle. So it means that this process should take 2 trillion cycle, the one for deploying and then the cycles that we put inside. So before running this command, we need to actually verify that we have enough cycles. So you can run dfx wallet network IC balance. And we have 2 trillion cycles. Actually, we have more than that. So this command should work. Make sure that you have enough cycles before running the command, otherwise you will run into issues. So let's do it. So that's it. We've created our first canister, and this is the canister ID. You can actually see in the files that you have a new file, which is canister_ids.json, and you have the name and the network, which is the IC, the Internet Computer, and then the canister ID. The next step is to build a WebAssembly module that will be installed inside the canister. For that, we can run this command, dfx build network IC first canister. It will compile the code into a WebAssembly module, and that's it. The last step is to install the module inside the canister with this command. And that's it. We've deployed our first canister, so let's try to interact with it. We can interact with our canister by using dfx. We need to use the following command, dfx canister network IC call, then the name of the canister, so first canister here, then the name of the method, greet, and then we need to open apostrophe, parenthesis, and then we put the argument inside. Because the argument is a text, we need to specify the quotation mark. Then we can write world. I just add a space for clarity. And then we need to close that. And it should answer hello world. So let's try. Amazing. Hello world. If you've learned something today, make sure to press the like button and subscribe for more videos.